Good morning, comic book fam. Good morning to another comic book review. Today we're going to be talking about King in Black issue number 2 of course, it's a King in Black event right now, written by Donna Cates. Super good. And to be honest, I was not expecting that. Of course, we got also Stegman doing the art. Great artist, you can clearly tell. Like, he knows what's up, especially with shots like that. Super good. So, we kick off already where we left. So even though there are some time books in between one or two that you can read, you don't really have to. But this book, after this one, it will tell you what to read exactly, which is quite cool because even though there are a lot of time books, right? You got, your Iron Man fighting Santa Claus, all of other things. It kind of guides you through it so far. Let's hope they're not gonna mess it up, because we know Marvel, like for Otherworld Realms, I hope they've learned a lot, because they can mess it up. So, I did enjoy it even more, and to be honest, I almost like shed a man tear with this book. It is getting me emotionally invested like crazy with all the characters, with the story, or what is happening, and it is a great issue. If you can get it, get it. It's so far you should get main King in Black story, because I think this at certain point is going to be maybe a movie, because that would be an amazing movie. But let's take a look. Again, also one more thing that's worth mentioning. This is a premium format of paper, so we got thicker cover, thicker pages, less glossy pages, but because of that, and I freaking hate that, the spine crease is real. Like, when the book came, it was already like that, so I'm like, oh, screw it. But because of all the material that they've used for the cover, so if you're reading it, it's like, whoa, you have to be really careful on this point, because it can get easily destroyed. But of course, you have an online version of this book. You have the code, so you can go and read on your phone. But that's not why you're buying this, right? Okay, so we kick off. Actually, this is chapter 2, Fall, and it's it's fall because at the end of the issue number 1, Eddie Brock was thrown down from Empire State Building by a Knull, and we continue right with that. So he's just smashing in to the car, and let's remember, he has no armor, he has no venom. Like, literally, he's just a man who crashed down from Empire State Building onto a car. Of course, yes, the car was covered in symbiote, but that's what it was. And Spider-Man sees that, his mortal enemy, right, at a certain point. Of course, they teamed up recently against Carnage, I know, but like they were still kind of enemies. So he goes like, oh god, no, Eddie, fuck, Eddie, and Eddie goes like, Dylan, promise you're gonna save Dylan. Spider-Man almost cries. He goes like, no, mate, you're not gonna die. And Knull was like, oh, come on. How hard it is to kill one man? Which is a great quote. And now we also got a spider sense going. He's like, oh, I gotta go down. So not only he is crying because his, friend, Eddie Brock, almost died. Which, okay, they're frenemies, we can say that. Almost died. But then we see the X-Men, Captain America, Cyclops, they all been turned into nullified versions of themselves. They are part of Knull's army, and they are attacking them. And as this is happening, we got a Human Torch coming down. He goes like, hey, Peter, I can help you. I will die here. I will not survive that. But take Eddie to this location. Help him. He goes like, no, I can't. Like, no, listen, Peter. Tell them I was like super brave and everything. Because, again, I've got a reputation to hold up. But just go. If I die, I die. We gotta do it. So we've got this shot I've showed you earlier of Spider-Man with the Eddie Brock, and he's taking them to the Fantastic Four laboratory, where we got Reed Richards We got a Valkyries, we got all of that stuff, and here you can also start like reading Valkyries tie-in books. It's not bad. Like at this point, it came out. Of course, Eddie Brock is he's kind of still alive, but like every single bone in his body is shattered, ruptured or dislocated, and he's like on the verge of death. And he has all the tubes running, and he was on life support, and he's like, hey, the Valkyries know when this death is coming, and there's like a huge death above Eddie. So Spider-Man goes like, all right, I know what I must do. So he goes to the location where Dylan is held, and he just opens the door. Dylan looks at Spider-Man, and Dylan goes like, just goes down, in terms of like, his head. He puts his head down, and he knows. Like Dylan at this point knows what happens, and this is one of like even gives me chills. Now it's like, no words needed, just art speaks for itself. It's so good. It is so good. So they talk like, hey, we gotta get you there. At the same time, we've got Blade trying to talk with Charles Xavier and Magneto, like, hey, so we came from Krakoa, it's cool, but can you help us? Like, no, screw you. Like, we've lost like X-Men team right there. We're not gonna give you more mutants. Like, you're out alone. Like, Blade goes like, come on, and Magneto goes like, not gonna do that, mate. Sorry. Black Panther and Reed Richards with Sue, they're trying to figure out something to actually save Eddie Brock, where comes Namor. And there is a tie-in book with Namor. There's Attack on Atlantis trade paperback and Namor tie-ins that are kind of like before it, where he's just fighting Knull there, and they go like, well, Namor, just screw you, like no one likes you, get over here. And he goes like, yeah, but the earth is kind of made out of water in 80% or 70, so it is my deal. And the guy just like literally wrapped us over like a Christmas present, so what's the plan? And they go like, all right, listen, so the plan is going to be quite simple. We're gonna have to go and assemble teams. We really need people, because like Captain America, like everyone we knew is now nullified. Like, we are fucked. But also, I am Iron Man. I know what I'm doing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to catch one of the dragons, be one with the dragon. So I have a Venom, right? I have the symbiote. I'm gonna come in too. Of course, there's a Jane Foster returns, of course, in defense. So there's a tiny book. So I'm gonna come in, right, and I'm gonna give that symbiote to Eddie Brock so I can help him out. And we've got all of the characters going on their own missions. So Namor goes to the Black Tide, and he goes like, well, you know that I almost died trying to get rid of Black Tide, right? Oh, that's a courier. Gosh darn it. I'll be... Alright, so where were we? Because courier came out with my pants. So, because I've ordered some, because they're so close. Yeah, okay, so, I know, we're here, right? So, they're all going to different missions in that. And, of course, it goes like, hey, the Black Tide, like, we almost got killed fighting Black Tide. It goes like, yeah, as we're going to deal with symbiote, with the Knull, then, you know what? Then I'm going to help you out with the Black Tide. Like, go there and ask them for help. Then we go... to, of course, Chernobyl, Ukraine, with Blade, that he goes like, well, Dracula, can you help? At the same time, we've got Kingpin, the Kingpin, actually trying to help, and he's like, all right, guys, who wants to make some money? And we also cut to Iron Man trying to get that symbiote. He gets it, and we slowly see, the lines, the heartbeats of the Eddie Brock, which is really important. So they are near him, and Iron Man is like, everyone move, no one is here, I'm going in, so Eddie can connect to the symbiote. And as Eddie is being connected, he almost dies. Like, his heart goes super, because like, he goes like crazy. He is in pain. They're trying to get rid of the symbiote. They cannot. So the Dylan goes like, move, and destroys the symbiote. So now they're like, what the You have that power? Like, you can destroy that symbiote? Like, can you destroy the King in Black like that? And as they're like surprised by it, you're like, what's that noise? And we see the flat line. Eddie Brock has died. Eddie Brock is dead. How powerful is that? Of course, there's a letter to the King in Black, rest in peace, Venom. But if you turn a few pages, what I like about it is we got a Venom issue number 32, first 2 pages. And this is the perspective of Eddie Brock. So as he's hitting down onto a car, his mind goes through it. And he finds himself in this super dark black space where there is maybe a friend. We don't know, but it calls him Brock. Which is really cool because it tells like, alright, now I gotta go and read Venom number 32, which we're gonna read. And it just shows like, hey, go and read that. Like, there are all other Time books, cool, but just go and read that book instead, so you have the full story. If you want like even fuller, right, if you want like everything, there are Time books, but if not, just move here. Great idea. So the book, 9 out of 10. Can I say no? I can't give it 10. No, I can't give it 10. I can't because of this screw it. It's 10 out of 10. It's 10 out of 10. It's 10 out of 10. Like, I've read it 3 times already in like span of 2 days. It's so good. It's so good. It's 10 out of... And again, Marvel does that. 10 out of 10 right there. King Black number 2. Super good book. You should go pick it up and read it. And the fact... It would be a 9, but the fact that they're starting here with Venom number 32... I really enjoyed that touch, because now you go like, okay, I'm gonna need Venom number 32 because I want to know what happens to Eddie. He's freaking dead. So what happens? Like, what was happening in his mind when this was happening? It is just absolutely great. There's nothing less, nothing more to say. It's a 10 out of 10 book. I love that. Also, I would love to see a Nullify Wolverine, but maybe gonna see that in the future. Again, not overdoing it. Thor, still not here. Not a lot of X-Men because, of course, they're like, no, mate, the Krakoa is the only thing we're not getting there. Great. Again, if someone had no idea about Krakoa, that might be like a weird part if you're not reading X-Men, so that'd be cool. You know what would need? A guide. But the guide comes out after the last issue of King in Black. So, whatever. So that's one of those things. But it's cool to see like really unused characters making an impact. So Namor. Like, I dislike Namor. But here it's like, okay, because he's a douchebag. He's like a dick to everyone. But he is trying to do good here. Blade, right? That's a character that you don't see very often. Sif, also, you know, he's from Thor, so, and Valkyrie, it's like, yeah, cool. But you know, like, this is going to be the battle, and where this is going to go from here, that is the question. We haven't seen a Black Knight yet in this story, but we know from the tie-in books that are Symbiote Spider-Man that Black Knight has a sword that can kill Knull. So, who knows what's gonna happen, right? And yeah, I can't wait. I can't really wait. It's a great book, but it goes straight to bag and board. Let's bagged and boarded. It deserves that. Okay, bagged, boarded, and let's put it here, sealed of approval. There we go. Amazing, amazing book. Great one. 10 out of 10 right now. Again, Donny Cates, and he writes Venom stuff, he's great. When he writes Event, he's great. Thor, not so good. But here, a great event. Love it. And I'm happy that actually this is the first event of Kovac. So, like my fiance, so it's really, really gonna have an impact on her. I'm like, oh yeah, events are cool. Comic books are cool. And if someone started reading books from King in Black, man, not only they are confused, but also like, oh, that's pretty cool. So thank you guys so much for watching. Goodbye, good night, have a fantastic rest of the day. Take care. Bye. 10 out of 10, baby. Let's go.